This little video will just help you work through these examples and follow along so that you know how to convert units of pressure. So at the top, we've got our unit conversion. So as you know from before, 1 atmosphere is equal to 760 millimeters of mercury, which is equal to 760 torrs, which is equal to 101.325 kilopascals. And one of the things in this unit that you're constantly going to need to do is to examine and monitor and make sure that your units of pressure are consistent or what they need to be in. So you need to be very competent at switching and converting units of pressure. In this example, we're going to convert 750 millimeters of mercury into atmospheres and into kPa. So to convert into atmospheres, and in any case, what you want to do is start by setting up a proportion based on the known ratio between the two units of pressure you're comparing. So we are starting here with millimeters of mercury, and we want to convert to atmospheres. So our known ratio is 760 is equal to 1. And then to set up a proportion, what we need to do is we're looking for atmospheres, so that becomes our X, and then our known pressure that we have is 750. So if you think about this from lots of different ratio examples, same in stoichiometry, you've got your known ratio and your unknown ratio. So 760 is to 1 as 750 is to X. And then to solve for X, what we need to do is cross multiply. So 760 times X is equal to 750, and then by dividing by 760, we are left with 0.9868 atmospheres. Now, in terms of significant digits, what we want to make sure that we pay attention to is that when we're converting units of pressure, we don't want this unit conversion to impact our number of significant digits. So as a general rule, you always just want to make sure that you have more significant digits in your units of pressure after the conversion, okay, while you're in the middle of a calculation. And we give you some tips in the next example just to do a unit conversion problem, but just as a general rule, don't round too early and then you won't have any issues with significant digits. For converting into kilopascals, we have that same ratio. So now that we have atmospheres, we could actually convert atmospheres to kilopascals. And that's a relatively easy conversion because it's 1 atmosphere to 101.325 kilopascals. So we simply need to take our our atmospheres that we have and multiply by 101.325. Okay, so that's one way to do it, but just for this example to show you, because the most difficult conversion for people sometimes is millimeters of mercury to kilopascals, we'll just show the setup again. So again, you've got your known ratio, so 760 millimeters of mercury is equal to 101.325 kilopascals. Therefore, 750 millimeters of mercury is X kilopascals. We cross multiply, we solve, and we get 99.99 kilopascals. When you're doing some practice problems, you're given a table, and so you're asked to navigate between all 4 types of units of pressure. And so you're given atmospheres, and then you want to use that to convert it to millimeters of mercury, convert it to torr, convert it to kPa. You can also, go from millimeters of mercury to torr to kPa. However you want to navigate and complete the table is fine. The idea, though, is that you just want to pick a pair and do the same thing that we just did. Set up a proportion and then solve for your unknown. Another thing to note here is that for millimeters of mercury and torr, okay, they are equal to each other. It's just kind of an old way of describing it. Millimeters of mercury describes how it's measured with the barometer, and then torr is just giving credit to Torcellini, who is the one who designed the barometer. So for this example, it's pretty straightforward here. 954 is going to be our torr. So the millimeters of mercury and torr are going to be the same. For this, just to keep it simple, there's some tips here on how to report your units of pressure in your answer, so that you're not worrying at this stage about significant digits. They'll become more important as we move through.